If there's something I've learned since joining the book community online, it's there's two different hobbies when it comes to books. There's reading books, and then there's buying books, and they are not the same hobby. Today I'm at Half Price Books. We're going to go with the book buying hobby. I don't have any books that I need. I don't have any books that I want desperately enough to go searching for them. But I love stopping by here when I'm around one. There's not one where I live. The closest one is where I'm at now, which is like an hour and a half away, and I'm just driving through. So I thought I would just see what they have, because occasionally they have really awesome deals on books. There's a lot of nostalgia here too, because I frequently find books here that, because it's a used bookstore, are books that started my interest in reading romantasy books to begin with. And recently, the last couple times I've been here, they have a section for special editions, and I just love looking through them, even though I've not purchased a special edition from Half Price Books. It's fun to look at special editions that I have maybe missed or haven't seen before that are in here. So let's go check it out. My dedication to getting books is very strong, because it is 17 degrees out here and it's freaking cold, and I got out of my car. So let's see what they got. So I always start here. This is their sneak peek. This is the stuff before it goes on the shelf, just to see if there's anything that I want and I don't have. Got Percy Jackson here. One Dark Window. I just got the Barnes & Noble special edition of this one. Very excited to read it. I've heard a lot of good things about this one. I've never read Emily Henry, but a lot of people really like her books. They're romance. The Holiday Swap. This is another one that I've heard about, but Christmas is over for me, so I'm not going there. And then Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. This is a different edge. Mine's red, so this is the purple one, so this must be a newer print. And we got the Magic Treehouse books. I loved these. These are what I grew up on. These and the Boxcar Children. I loved the Magic Treehouse. This is the beginning books, because Dinosaurs Before Dark. I remember that one. We have Butcher and Blackbird too. This is not my type of reading, but you know, to each their own. This has gotten a lot of good reviews, and I had people recommending the audiobook to me. This one is also a very popular book talk book that came in here, and this is hard to find. Finding any Sarah J. Maas books is almost impossible. So House of Sky and Breath is the second Crescent City novel, and this is not the original cover print. I don't remember who printed this actually. Let's see. It's Bloomsburg. Anyway, paperback Sarah J. Maas book is a very unique find. We've got some other popular books on here. So book 4 and several of the other, actually books 3 through 4 here of, oh wait, no. So we have City of Bones, which is the first in the Immortal Instruments, and then Clockwork Prince. I remember reading this one, and I did not read the Clockwork Princess. This is where I stopped. I stopped at the Clockwork Prince of the Infernal Devices. I used to love this series, and then if you know what happens between the two love interests, I stopped there. There's something that happens, I'm not going to spoil it if you haven't read it, but it ruined the entire series for me. Hooked is another darker romantasy book. I am not into that, but it's a popular book on the social media side. And The Invisible Life of Audie LaRue, that one's been, or Audie LaRue, I don't know how you say it. That's another popular one that I've seen everywhere, and got a hardback with the dust cover on it, so a good find here. And some Series of Unfortunate Events book. I loved this series when I was a kid. So this is a cool one too, Quidditch Through the Ages. I have this book, but not this edition. This is a really pretty edition of the book. In for $5.99, so that's a good deal. We also have some Elsie Silver books, also not my type of reading, but several of them in Lucy's Score. That's a popular one. Somebody's been reading Rebecca Yarros too, because you have In the Likely Event. This thing looks brand new. It hardly looks even touched. Several of these books don't look touched. You have Full Measures from Rebecca Yarros as well, and then her newest book, Variation. I have this, a signed edition from Rebecca. She signed it in pink. Very excited about that. It is something I'm planning on reading once I finish Onyx Storm. And then the last one I'll show you up here is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. This one's being turned into a Netflix series, and I am not going to probably read the physical copy. I do want to listen to the audiobook. I had the audiobook recommended to me, so I'm looking for that. Okay, I lied. I found some more stuff. So Allie Hazelwood, I've read a few of her books. I haven't read any of this series. And then also several Katie Roberts books. I know these are also really popular, but I prefer something with a little bit more plot than these books have. So we're gonna leave everything I found up here on the shelf, but lots of good finds just walking in the door on the cart that was recently brought in. Oh, here's another In the Likely Event and The Hobbit. So I always love coming to the teen fiction section because I find stuff that I love to read. So we have a bunch of copies of The Hunger Games. There is none of these that are hardback, but hardback version of Catching Fire. I've been looking for hardback versions of these because I want to complete my set all on hardback, and then also Mockingjay. So these are great finds, and I'll just have to get the hardback copy of Hunger Games later, which shouldn't be an issue. These are the two that are in the best condition. There's a couple others, like this Mockingjay has just some damage on the dust cover, so I'm going to skip that. And there's another Catching Fire here with no dust cover, but I can at least grab these in the hardback. I also found the Selection series, the entire set of those. Let's see how much that one is. It's $19.99 for the entire set in paperback. And then also this series was one of my favorites, the House of Night novels. I don't think I ever finished it, and I have no idea where I stopped, but I read a whole bunch of these back in high school. I loved this series. It was one of my favorites. And even more of the City of Bones series, The Mortal Instruments. Tons of those, like actual, like multiple shelves, because there's just a ton of books in this. So if you wanted to like come to a place like this to piecemeal the series together, you can get hardbacks or paperbacks or multiple different versions and covers of these books, because obviously people bring these in frequently. I am also super excited about seeing this. I don't know if anybody else read this series. Looking at what's on the shelf, I'll show you in a second, there's a bunch that I did not read, but I read these in high school and absolutely devoured them. I loved them. This is a fae-based series. Or they're more fairies, I believe. The Iron Fae. That's the series name, The Iron Fae. And it's kind of very similar to ACOTAR, as the human gets sucked into the Fae world, and it's a really good series. I don't remember a lot of the details other than there's a lot of fights, there's a lot of tasks they have to complete, so this one is super exciting to find. So I don't know exactly where I stopped, but I remember this one and this one and this one. I don't remember these, so somewhere in here, The Lost Prince, I don't remember any of that. I mean, I feel like the covers are really cool too. I thought the covers were awesome when I was younger, so these are super cool to see. I've also seen this series around quite a bit, and the paperbacks are just $6.50 a piece. I don't think I'm gonna pick them up today because I recently added a lot of books to my bookshelf and I need to figure out how much space I have left on my bookshelf, but these are a great deal. I love finding good deals like this, and I have another one that I want to show you that's a really cool one. So I pulled this book out because I was curious. I did a video where I went to Ollie's and looked at what books they had for sale, and they had this book for way cheaper than $20. I was like, why is this $20? It's actually an autographed copy, so it has a book plate in it and was signed by the author. So that's one of the fun things about coming to a half-price book. Like, this is on the regular shelf, it's not displayed anywhere, and so you just pulled this out and realized that, oh, this is actually an autographed copy instead of a standard copy. They did have the first book in the series for $9.49. However, there is some damage to the dust cover, so I'm going to leave that one behind. This is a series that I may be interested in reading, like at some point, but not super interested right now. However, I still like seeing finds like this here, just knowing that maybe I'll like happen across one for a book that I do want to read, and read like right now. You also can find collector's editions like this, so this is a really cool collector's edition of Shadow and Bone. I also recently picked this one up at Ollie's a few times ago. I didn't vlog that one, but it was a little bit cheaper than this. It was like $5, I think. So this is another one I found at Ollie's for like $4.99, and the dust jacket was like this, so maybe the dust jacket just looks like it's damaged. I'm not sure. Maybe it just gets damaged really easy. I don't know. And then this is another one I found on Book Outlet, and brand new. It was on the $5.99 sale not too long ago, so just keep your eye out for that one too. So I do see The Shadows Between Us. This is one of my top reads for 2024. I loved this book, but it doesn't have the dust cover, which really brings the special edition to life even more, but it's gorgeous without the dust cover. And then we have the Immortals series. I loved this one. I read all of these as far as I'm aware. This was one of my favorites. She can see auras, and it's more of a witchy type book. Really enjoyed that one. Also, plenty the Divergent series here, and Harry Potter. Tons of Harry Potter books, paperback, hardback, lots of options here. I actually would love at some point to do the hardback. This one is the hardback, pretty good condition for $13.49. Not doing that today. I've heard this is really cool too. This is a fairly new release where it goes through a moment for every day of the year in Harry Potter. It's a little bit after the beginning of the year, so I'm not picking that up today, but cool to see it here. This is an interesting one. So we have the Dune Scarce Berkeley edition from 1983. This is a $200 book. This one's behind glass. Nobody's allowed to touch this one without permission, but that is a really cool cover. This book is also really cool. The People's Family Atlas World Index from 1885. You can see the older binding here. I just love seeing some of these old books that they have here. This is a cool binding of the Jungle Books. That's beautiful. And a really cool edition of Huckleberry Finn by Mark Twain. I love the binding on this. And the gold pages, this is absolutely gorgeous. So this is the judge a book by its cover section, and these are all special editions or just really pretty covers. Like this is a Fairy Loot exclusive cover and edition, and look at those edges. These are really cool. This book is not on my TBR, but really cool edition. I do have this one. This is the Illumicrate special edition, I believe. Yes, Illumicrate. This one's still in the plastic. It's really pretty, and the second book is actually getting ready to come out. I think it's called Tideborn. I'm excited to have that on my shelf. Let me tell you that. I love this one. I think the cover is beautiful, and the inside cover is even better. This is the Illuminary special edition. This one's $45. Look at the edges on it. This is another Illumicrate exclusive, and it is really pretty. I did not get this edition. That must have been before I started, or a book that you had to order outside of the box. So the Teller of Small Fortunes, this one's pretty. Look at the edges on this. I love the teapot and the tree leaves. This one's a really cute book. Very pretty. We also have a signed edition of Murder Your Employer. Some of these have been marked down. So this is a signed book with sprayed edges. I don't know anything about this one, but sometimes you can find good deals because this one's $15.99. There's also some bookish merch down here. So this is in the A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I think it's the third one. So it just has the black edges, and it's been marked down to $19.99. And I haven't heard of this series, but this is the set here. We Hunt the Flame, We Free the Stars, that also has the sprayed edges that are very, very cool. If you like coloring, they have a Bob Ross coloring calendar. Anybody else love Bob Ross? We love Bob Ross around here. Then we also have newer releases, so still have the sprayed edges of Heavenbreaker and 5 Broken Blades. These came out over the summer. And same thing with Wren and the Holly Library, still have these sprayed edges for it. And the Courting of Bristol Keats. This is a newer one, I believe. Also have all 3 of the Lucy score books with the sprayed edges as well. So I found something in the new releases I wanted to tell you about, and it is Can't Spell Treason Without T. This book is super, super cute. Me and my best friend Meg, we buddy read this. We have a post over on our Bookstagram account with some of the things that we said back and forth when we did our buddy read. We do our buddy reads on Storygraph, and that's where I do all of my reviews. If you haven't checked out Storygraph, I highly recommend it for buddy reads, because the way it works is you can put your comments in, and then when you update what page you're on, the comments will unlock if somebody's made a comment there. So it doesn't have to be something where you really are reading at the same pace. You can change up your pace. So Can't Spell Treason Without T It is a couple that's basically on the run. One of them is wanted for rebelling, and they set up their cozy little tea shop that also sells books. And it's just a really cute read, but there is still some battle scenes in there, and the story and saga continues in a pirate's life for tea. I haven't read this one yet, but you can see the edges on both of these. You have the blue edges with book 1 and the orange edges with book 2. This is one that I definitely am going to read eventually. I'm going to put it back today because I'm already getting these, but this is the Tombs and Tea series, and so if you're looking for a really cute and cozy fantasy, I highly recommend this one. It was such a good read. Very easy read, but still has a little bit of world building. There's a lot of drama and also a sense of community with the groups within this book. It had me laughing out loud a couple different times, and it's a good palate cleanser if you're doing like a deep fantasy read and you want something that's just a little bit lighter and easier to read. And there's dragons and there's griffins and a lot of magical creatures in this book that are super fun and cute as well, if that's something you're into. So the shelf that has all the new releases has some new releases that just got put on the shelf since I got here. And I am shocked they're probably not going to leave that shelf. Let me show you what it is. So the entire Throne of Glass series and a well-loved copy of A Court of Mist and Fury has made it over here. Let's see. These are still $9.97. These are pretty warped spines on these books. They've definitely not gotten the attention they deserve, but potential to get this series for a relatively good price used. Let's see what. So these are all about $9 to $10 a book, it looks like. Right around $9.50 per book, and then Kingdom of Ash is going for $10.49. So I think I'm doing all right. I leaving with 2 out of the 3 Hunger Games books for $17, which I think is a good deal. Gosh, this lady sucks. We're gonna walk backwards. And I don't think the half-price books is really half-priced anymore, especially those special editions. They were still pretty much the price that you would pay if you're purchasing through like a Lumicrate or Fairy Loot, but they're still beautiful to see, and I like being able to see all these different special editions that maybe I haven't seen before, or from different boxes that I'm just not familiar with. So overall, got a good experience. I just love walking around bookstores. I never film the people that I don't know. Sorry, it is really cold. I told you it was like 17 degrees outside. I needed to get my car. But I found several people who were also buying books and saw me filming, and then we started talking afterwards just about the different books and about Onyx Storm coming out and all that fun stuff. Because I am filming this before Onyx Storm comes out. This video is not going to go live on YouTube until after it comes out, because it's coming out today, and I have some Onyx Storm content that I want to put up first. But it's always exciting when I find any good deals in there that I'm excited about, because the hardback version of like Catching Fire, for example, was still like $20-some on Amazon, and I know I can go through like Pango Books and things like that and get it cheaper, but with shipping it ends up being cheaper to just purchase it this way. So I hope you enjoyed some of my finds, and I will see you next time. Bye!